are taking our kids every day. A child a minute, no one has a thing to say for those who have been isolated. Don't be worried, you have a voice today. So listen up everyone, here is the story. Child Protective Services is real. CPS is what they call it. They want our kids because it fills a lot of people's wallet. We all think it won't be us. We say when they come we will be so tough. It all sounds good when there's no one to take them. But when they come, your voice gets to breaking. Stay calm, step away. CPS ain't taking no one today. We are educated. Stay calm, step away. CPS, you need to leave. I know the tricks up your sleeve. You can't do what you're trying to do. We have done our homework. Don't do a damn thing without a warrant. You no longer will steal our kids this way. Tiff and the Punisher have come for the calling. They are giving us the CPS warning. Their voice is loud and clear. We stop losing our kids this year. Tiff wants to fight the entire planet. She is tired of our kids being taken, goddammit. She's been fighting CPS for 30 years, bringing children home from this disgusting mess. The Punisher is screaming out loud, abolish CPS and tear it down. I want all our kids to come back. Look at all those kids' pictures held up like thin tags. Together we are stronger than we need. We will tear down CPS with high speed. We will do so much being together. Birds of a feather flock together. So watch out CPS, here we come. Picking you one by one. We promise to bring back the family and prosecute the caseworkers unhandily. So give us back the kids you have taken. Tiff and the Punisher sending you all on a vacation. The one with bars in the windows and the only games you play are on Nintendos. Corruption in courts, here we come. We won't stop until it's done. You judges need to learn what you stand for. This is Tiff and the Punisher warrior, and we cry out to all of you out there. We need support for a cause that many don't care. All children are being stolen way too often. So CPS, we plan on doing the stopping. Stopping.
I didn't know Darren was going to put me on blast right there.
I'm here. Here I am. Here we are. Happy Memorial Day weekend, everybody. I know it's a day late, but Tiff, go ahead. Say what you wanted to say about that.
Well, about Memorial Day weekend?
Yeah.
Not only should we be thanking the families of the people that served and gave their life for our freedoms that we still are fighting for every day, but I also want everybody to remember the parents that have taken their own lives over CPS and child support and the family courts, because they too were fighting. We need to remember them too, because this should not be happening. So I want everybody to remember them too and pray for the families. And let's not have any more. There's a bug flying around. We should not have any more people taking their own lives over what CPS is doing. And I think if we can support them more in some way, we should be doing that.
Mm-hmm. I don't see why anybody would have a problem with calling that Memorial Day for people that have taken their lives because of this. I mean, this is a war. It is. I said that a long time ago. You know, like, then we're like this, like leaving soldiers behind, kind of. You know, like people are leaving parents that have lost their kids to CPS and just kind of kicking them to the curb. And it is like leaving your guys behind, and they do need people to stand with them and be in their corner. You know, like it's some days when you're a parent like this, you just had it, you know, and you just can't fight anymore, you know, and I guess you can equivalent that to being in battle. You know, like you got to be sharp on the battlefield all the time. You got to be, you know, keep your eye on, you know, like make sure your friends and your comrades are all right. Well, you don't have comrades in this game. You don't have friends. If anything, you have maybe a kind of acquaintance at best. And you know, you just some days you just lose it, and then when you lose, you become that casualty. You know, and that sucks. Sucks that they have to because there's nobody there for them. You know that. To think one phone call, 30 seconds could have changed their life, you know, or could have changed that life. But because that 30 seconds wasn't made available to them, they take it too. And yeah, I mean, I do believe that I don't think anybody should have a problem with sharing that Memorial Day thoughts with those people that have done that, you know. And that goes, did you know that more, I think, oh man, I forget who shared that stat with us, but more parents, what was it? It was more fathers uh, commit the self-harm to themselves over the amount of male father veterans that come home from war every day, I believe was the stat that he had given us. And that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Um, so yeah, here's to them that couldn't win this fight, I guess, you know. So that being said, um, yeah, where do we go from that one? You know, like where do you even step into this then that one next?
Well, I want parents to know that you know, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel somewhere. I truly believe that.
Mhm.
And federal cases like at the I had it. Let me see if I got it in here. My paperwork. Um, oh, I got it right here.
Imagine that. Look at that. Ask you shall receive, Tiff.
A lot of advocates are like, Tiff, how do we get federal cases in that aren't like in our district? I said it doesn't matter. And then I found this. Hold on. Now I just gotta find what I'm looking for.
Is this in the email that you sent me?
No, not this, but
No.
you can
Okay.
open that. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Why wouldn't there be someone here right now?
Of course, I probably won't be able to find it because I'm looking for it.
Lily, you're absolutely right. This is not what America is about. Absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely. You know, the cornerstone of the American value is the family. And they're doing a fine, fine job with chopping that thing right up. And what was that? They're not even showing it. This shows you how biased and how the news media is still working in this manner. Is that they weren't even talking about that HB 834, I believe is what it is, the one about the gender mutilation and everything. That they're saying absolutely not. Like you are not any kid that's under the age of, I think that it's at 16. That if you support that or whatever, you're paying some consequences for allowing that to happen. And they should. People should support that because, you know, if you have to be 18 to figure out who you are in life, you sure as hell aren't old enough to be figuring out whether or not your gender should be, you know, chosen. So shame on those people for doing that. But other than that side, good for these congressmen that are standing up for that bill and saying stop this support of it and everything else, because it's wrong and it's disgusting, and it needs to be just done away with, not just rethought. It needs to be done away with, because that's no way to go anyway. You know.
So I found it. So, and
Okay.
I read this to them. I said,
You
that's
got it.
bullshit.
Right.
It says all federal law and Supreme Court cases apply to state court cases, period. They apply.
Okay. So that's all state. So the Supreme Court, no matter what, supersedes state courts.
And so does federal law. Federal law and Supreme Court cases apply in state court cases.
So does that mean that they have to use this? Does that mean that they have to allow you to use the Supreme Court cases? Like the judges in the state court case can't say that we're not in Supreme Court or whatever. They have to allow you to use it.
I don't know if you'll be able to see it.
No. What does it say?
I'll have to email it to you.
Okay.
I had to put it in a PDF and mail it to you, or
Okay.
email it to you.
So it says
But
what?
there it is. It's right there. And the case is Louisville and N.R.co versus Matali and Mark versus the United States in 1997. It's right there. And it also says here, under federal law, which is applicable in all states, and the Supreme Court stated that if a court is without authority, its judgments and orders are void regardless of validity. They are not voidable, but simply void, and form no bar to recovery, even prior to the reversal of an opinion. They constitute no justification, and all persons concerned in such judgments or sentences are considered in law as trespassers.
So do you know what they call that also?
Huh?
That's also called void ab initio.
Well, that's in here.
Right, because they're trying to cover it up. They're trying to cover up the fact that just because a law is, you realize that this is unconstitutional and you realize that this is wrong, they're trying to cover it up and trying to make it, no, you don't. That does not have to be adjudicated. And that's what that just says right there. If it's unconstitutional and it's not right, and it's not that, it's just like Mulberry versus Madison or whatever, just like that says, if it's repugnant to the Constitution, then it's no good. And see, they're trying to stop us from all of this. They're trying to stop us at the district court saying, well, you can't use the Constitution in this court. Well, then that's what the supremacy clause is. It tells you that this is the superior law of the land. So why is it that we're not getting more help from the federal government in all of this? Why are us little peon citizens, which really are the government, we the people, but why are we not getting help from these people saying, whoa, these people are supposed to be protecting us, our senators, our congressmen? Why are they not coming to our rescue saying, whoa, you can't treat these people like this. This is wrong. We are the lawmakers. We are the ones who enforce this stuff. You guys can't even create laws in these states, but yet you're enforcing statutes and codes on the people that run our government. Why are they not out there saying this? Like, what's the problem?
Because they're going to lose their seats. But my whole thing is, either you do your job like you said you were going to do to represent us, the people, or you need to get your ass out of that seat and put somebody else in there.
Right.
I said that in my rally. If you can't do it and you're not willing to step up and take a few slaps in the face because all these parents have, then you need to unask your seat and let somebody else in it.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Facts. Do your job.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. It's your job. And the same thing goes with these representatives from your states. Do your job or find someone. Because your job, if you are a state senator or a state representative, your job is to make sure that the things are enforced for the people that work. for our government. That's what your job is, to make sure that you, or we the people, are protected from the government itself. You guys are supposed to make sure the statutes and codes that you guys have are making you guys not enforce or infringe on our rights as we the people. That's what your job is there. And they're getting us all ass backwards, like they're on some sort of a power trip. They're taking our kids. They're putting on taxes on all kinds of things. They're putting all kinds of fees and impeding on all of our finances and taxes for land use and all of this stuff. But it all goes back to the basis of our kids, because the family is the damn final. There's the final. Like the family is the building block. And the family is where everything starts and stops in this country. That's what the fundamentals were built on for. That's what the forefathers came over here because of, was the family. And you know what? They've made it so that we've lost that. So we need to go back and make the family the most important thing in your damn lives. And if you don't make that happen, then the rest of it's not going to come out to be the way it needs to be. People that don't have any family left, or their family been broken apart, how good are your lives going? Really, be honest. How good is everything? Are you struggling? Are you working day? But if you have a big family, your lives are great. You know why? Because you know that you have a network. So you're more willing and more apt to do things when you have a large support network than you would if you were just, by yourself. You can't do this because you need that 9-to-5 job over here that you've been working for 20,000 years to keep your little apartment. You don't jump out into anything if you have that support of your family. If you don't have it, you're like, I'm not going to take a risk. I lose this job, I'm going to lose my apartment. I lose this and this and this. When you have grandma's house still, and you have mom and dad over here, and a bunch of uncles and brothers and sisters, you take chances that you wouldn't normally take. But CPS has done a great job of smashing the families apart that way. Even if it's just one of you, they brought it down. You're ostracized from your family. If you have 4 or 5 brothers, you're ostracized. Oh, well, we don't want to talk about this, but and they have their own side family talk about you and everything. I have people that contact me all the time that they've been ostracized by their family because their kids been taken, but they used to be tight as tight could be, before this happening. And now it's caused a big crux in their family because, the sister got the baby, and then the mother is over here, like, you know what I mean? And they used to be best friends. And now because of all of this, it's destroyed the family. And it should never, ever have happened. That's what we're letting happen. We're letting our families be destroyed, and we're letting the foundation of our country be demolished and be destroyed. And as long as that's going on, we're never going to get right as we the people, because we're all too straight apart. We're solid when we know who we are, where we come from, what we're about, when we have heritage, when we have, like, ask about, ask our families, who's your, we can't even get past our great grandparents, really, if you think about it. Who's past your great grandparents? But you go to someone over in England or whatever, I'm from the 5th generation, 1745 of Wales in the 1987, 43rd, 19th century, or whatever the hell they're saying. And they got that, but we don't. Why? Because they've constantly just chopped us down. And then in 1776, we said enough, and we tried to rebuild from it. And now, come 250 years later, here they come again, and they're hitting us strong. And they really are. Like, they're taking away. I don't know what those cats just did, but that's the strangest thing that just popped up behind my head. Scared the hell out of me.
I thought it was a ghost.
Oh, man. But, here it comes 250 years later, and they're at it again, and they're just smashing and smashing and smashing. And the more we're fighting, the more smashing they're doing. We can't stop now. If we stop now, then it's going to be forever so bad for our kids and our kids' kids. And even though we don't have our kids, we can't make it that way for them. We can't lead them into a direction. Like, we've got to do something for them. And this is one of the ways to, just make sure that you support these bills that you find right. Make sure you read everything that goes through there before you stand in line and, watch the state signs and stuff. When, they read them up there. Sometimes if they have the legislature when they're passing on election days, do more than that. Read up to this stuff. Find out what they're talking about. Don't just go in the voting booth. I'm looking, I see it. It's getting me all straight off. Is it going to attack me, or what's going to happen? I don't know. Do you see it too? I'm not just crazy, right? All right. He's up there somewhere, that little bastard. Whatever. Anyway, whatever I was saying, that's what I was talking about. Make sure you pay
Um,
attention to the family heritage.
Once I emailed this to Darren, because I don't have Dr. somebody's email address, you could just forward it to him. And Deidre, I did have my shoes on, but I almost tripped barefooted over the cord, so I just went on and took them off before the venue started. And my next my next rally is June 22nd at 1:00, and we will be live. So I just had to get that out of the way.
Yes, very nice. I'm opening.
Are you going to pull up those cases?
Yep, I was just enticed in what you were saying. That's all.
Yeah, and I hope the cat don't jump down on your head because I saw the little paw.
Yeah, I think he went away, or she, whatever it is. And those ones are for sale if anybody wants them. They're $250 to $400 a piece, depending on what sex they are. They will come with shots and being fixed. Just to put that out there. All right, so we are looking at, what is it, 154 cases or something,
Yep.
right? That's what I'm looking for.
We're not going to have time to go through them all tonight. We can do something tomorrow. Because when me and Spanny did it, we did it in 4 days, 4 episodes. Because there's a lot of them.
That seemed like a lot. I would only think like 3 a day.
Well, there's more too because the Nicholson case isn't in here. And I have that case. I have to find it, but I have that case too.
Yeah, all the new ones that have come out.
Yeah, and all the new ones.
Yeah. All right, here we go. All right. If I lose you here, it's just because I lost you.
All the rallies right now are in Winchester, Virginia. But Darren and I will be talking about if people want us to come to their town, every state but Georgia. We can talk about it because it's going to cost us money to come, so we can talk about it. I love doing the rallies. I think they're awesome.
Yeah.
I have so much fun.
Those are real people, you know? They really are. Oh shit, you sent it to abolish. Whoops, my bad. Fight. Alright. Abolish. There you are. Damn. Slow head. There we go. Well, okay, so I got that one here. And then 154 is right here somewhere. Pull that out. So what else is everybody else thinking? What are we all thinking, huh?
They're talking about your cat.
I know that. I can see that my cat is being spoken of. The Bill of Rights, Thomas. CPS, affidavit regulation says here corpus delicti 1458. Where is this thing? I'm looking through my thing right here and I'm trying to find it. Where is it? State laws held unconstitutional. Oh, well, you did find it. Okay.
Are you gonna pull it up? Did you find it?
That's what I'm looking for right now, and I'm not seeing it. I don't see it right here.
I'll resend it.
Resend it, 'cause I don't see it. It's labeled 154, whatever, right?
Yes.
So I got, yeah, this is it.
I just sent it again. Fresher page.
Get bossy. Look, I still have head trauma. Lord.
Is it raining there?
I haven't been outside since I got home.
That's a
That's the
good
same thing I
thing.
just said. In child trafficking one.
What?
Was that what you're talking about? The one you just resent me?
Yes.
Oh, well, shoot fire, man. I had that already.
Well, click.
Oh my gosh sakes. I would have already had it up. I didn't know that's what it was.
Okay, so your head trauma. When you get
Yeah.
off, go take some
See,
Tylenol and call me tomorrow.
clearly it's still available to all of us to have some of it. All right, there we go. Cool. There we are. Look
Yep,
at that.
there it is. Woo, that's awful small. You have to read them.
Ooh, let me work on getting it bigger.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that in a minute. That's smaller. That's still pretty small. Um, oh, there. Can everybody see that now? That's a little bit. That's as big as I can get it.
Well, that's better than it was.
All right. I just can't see us, but that's all right.
That's okay.
Oh, Deidre, that's funny. It's raining cats and dogs. So coercion can be mental as well as physical. Blackburn versus Alabama. Yep. If neglect statutes conflict with Fourth Amendment, they must be deemed invalid. The state registers no gain towards its declared goals when it separates children from the custody of fit parents. That's Stanley versus Illinois. Showing harm to the child as a prerequisite for coercive state intervention, statutes incorporating drug use focus on parental behavior and thus subvert themselves by preserving references to parental misconduct as factors to consider in neglect determinations. Statutory law undermines the express requirement that harm to the child be a sine qua non of intervention. The result of this is that such cases often begin to resemble criminal proceedings against errant parents. Dolgen Supra, note 19 or 62. The assumption that drug use constitutes neglect inappropriately shifts the focus from the welfare of the child to the behavior of the parent not to the parenting, not the supposed where is it? Supposed, not the supposed, where the hell is it? Oh my god, oh, there you go. Supposed quality of the individual who is the parent should be at issue. Trial court cannot terminate parents' rights absent this finding of unfitness. Parental deficiencies alone do not render a parent currently unfit. The proper inquiry is whether the existing parental deficiencies or other conditions prevent the parent from providing for the child's basic health, welfare, and safety. In RE, Parental Rights to KMM. Anytime you're ready, Tiff.
I can't read that. Well,
All right, you
well,
can't read it.
so
Never
far
mind,
right there.
I got it. The court explained absent some tangible evidence of abuse or neglect, courts do not authorize fishing expeditions into citizens' houses. Mere parroting of the phrase best interest of the child without supporting facts and a legal basis is insufficient to support a court order based on reasonableness or any other ground. North Hudson DYFS versus Kohler family. An officer who obtains a warrant through materially false statements which result in an unconstitutional seizure may be held liable personally for his actions under Section 1983. Yep, that's a good one right there. Defendants cannot lawfully seize child without a warrant or the existence of probable cause to believe the child was in imminent danger of the harm. Where police were not taken informed of an abuse of the child prior to arriving at the caretaker's home and found no evidence of abuse while their seizure of the child was not evidence of abuse while their service. The seizure of the child was not objectively reasonable and violated and clearly established Fourth Amendment rights of the child. Woolley versus the City of Baton Rouge. Miller recognized the fundamental liberty interest by parents in the care, custody, and management of their children, an interest which must be balanced against the state's interest in protecting children suspected of being abused. Man. to act under the color of state law means the social worker acted beyond the bounds of their lawful authority, but in such a manner that the unlawful act were done while the official perpetrating or pretending to act in the performance of their official duties. In other words, the unlawful acts must consist of an abuse or misuse of power, which is possessed by the official only because they are an official. The social worker committed a misuse of power possessed by virtue of the state law and made possible only because the wrongdoer is clothed with the authority of the state law. His action taken under color of state law. I don't even understand what I just read. You want to explain
What
that
that
one a little bit
means
more?
is, what that means is just because they are government workers does not give them any rights. They have no rights. They have to stay within their guidelines, right? Like the imminent danger and the drug use and all that. Well, you just read it. Drug use alone is not enough to remove a child.
Right.
That's an abuse of power.
Mm-hmm. Right, because you're not putting the parent on trial for what they're doing. You're putting the safety of the child is what is that was that at hand here, not the parent's actions or whatever outside of the box. Is the child safe? Does the child have a home? Does it have, is everything in line with your child? Is everything safe for your child? It's pretty much what is in line there. It has nothing to do with what your parents are doing.
Correct.
Right. So if your caseworker came to your house, started throwing down unreasonable things, like saying your dishes are dirty and things like that, those are not reasons to take your child.
Nope.
As a matter of fact, I'll bet 95% of us that are on this and watch this show and are on this show, working this show, probably have had their kids wrongfully taken. We don't advocate for real child abuse. We don't want any, like if you really abuse your child and harm them, then I'm sorry that you did that, but we can't really help you unless you went and got help yourself, and you can change, because I do believe people can change, but unless you've done that and then done some other things, we can't really help you with that. But other than that, that's what we're here to help. We're here to help all of you, mostly the ones that have been affected by those words of neglect, that they've changed from meaning, not harmful at all to now neglect somehow has worked its way into a reason to TPR.
Right. And the neglect, if you look up every state's law on neglect, it's so vague that anything can be considered neglect.
Right. And remember we read that it wasn't even until the 60s or whatever that neglect was a thing.
Right.
I believe it was in 1963 or something like that it came out, and all of a sudden neglect became an issue. Before that, it was they had to prove physical harm.
Correct.
And then whatever changed, I don't remember the name of that act that we went over and talked about, but that act happened, and then the government started changing and went into, now we're going to start doing neglect. So, I don't know. It's just amazing to me that they can come so easily and take away your child, but yet people are sitting on death row for 50, 60 years and never will see the electric chair. It's absolutely crazy. All right, let's see. Let's move along here. Since Tiffany has volunteered me for this. Let's see. We are at unreasonable belief of imminent harm to a child will render a seizure unreasonable. How many people have imminent danger on your cases out there that aren't even close to imminent danger?
Almost everybody.
Yeah. Yep. Almost everybody. I bet you most of them. I bet everybody. You know what? I want to read this real quick. Hold on a second.
Go ahead.
I believe my book is right here. I want to read you what the opening sentences of my, what's not even the opening sentences. This is my whole findings answer right here. Actually, it's right here. Yep, that's me walking. It says something along the lines. I'll just find this. Everybody, all your things, you should have a binder for your entire case too. Don't forget that. Makes it so much easier to find everything. And if you put it in chronological order, it's easy to find, like this here. It's not here. There's every other page with that. Really? Anyway, it says something along the lines of, you do not have the words necessary. Let me see. I gotta find this right. What it says. Well, that's the petition for that word. Hold
on. Well, I want to read this while you look for that.
Yeah, good.
It says, while an emergency cannot create power, and no emergency justifies the violations of any of the provisions in the United States Constitution or the state's constitution. No emergency has just cause to supersede the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
That includes the imminent danger and exigent circumstances.
Yep. It's, the whole thing needs to be, it can't even be fixed. It needs to just be taken down. I mean, this is just
at this point, the only thing we can do is fire everybody.
Yep.
And start over.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. I mean, what else? Because there's nothing, you can't keep any of the players that are in play in this office. You can't. They're all tainted too.
Yep.
Like they've all been subject to this madness, this grossness. It's just, there's just no way. And this. So why are we even still? If Donald Trump has come out and said that these courts are no good and all of this stuff, why are we still letting these TPR hearings go through? Why are we letting all of this stuff still happen? And that's what I would like to know. If we're saying that there's no authority and there's all of this stuff, well, why is this still going on? Like, why haven't we put the proofs to this? Where did these people go? Because you know what? I kind of feel like, I really do. I kind of feel like they came rolling in with the trucks, and now we're all watching the taillights go by, or the taillights go. Like, what's going on with this stuff? Like, where is what we thought was getting ready to happen?
I think it's still going to happen. I believe it's still going to happen. It's just going to take some time. But we need everybody to stand up in these cases, right? Because if you get in there and you crumble like a cookie, you get nowhere. They won.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can teach people how to be strong, keep their emotions in check, and how to go in there and articulate this stuff and how to use this stuff, I think there would be a lot more people winning their cases.
I think so. I hope so. But we got to know so, right? We need people that are winning with this stuff that we're showing them to show up. I can't find that goddamn page. Of course, the one page that I have that I can't have. I always notice it. But anyway, it says along the lines of, we don't even have words to describe what why we came to the conclusion we've come to the conclusion of. And so my response to that was, they tell me that you don't speak English, because I'm, pretty sure, I have a degree in English and I understand how to read. So, and their response to me was, they said that because I was going to be in tears when I read the thing. Like, these people are idiots. So there's no reason that we can't beat them. You're absolutely right in this game. It's just, We need to get people together with us, and we need everybody to be involved with us. We need to be louder. That's it. You're absolutely right. We need to be louder, and we need people to use the stuff that we're doing because, they keep shutting it down. If we can't use it, you know what I mean? If we don't use it and try it, it's not just gonna be like one thing, and it's just gonna happen overnight. It's gonna be multiple times, and we're gonna have to try these things, until it gets, catching on. I believe that's my opinion.
Right. And and it's all trial and error, right?
Mhm.
Because that's how you learn the system. Like I used to go to court and watch the lawyers to figure out, first of all, who I was going to hire, but also to get to know the judge and their demeanor. Like if somebody pissed them, what makes them tick? Then I just started going to the law library because when I started, we didn't have the internet.
Well, this is true, right? Absolutely. This is the truth. Oh, that's funny. I just was opening up this letter from from the lady, and it says the section that in the this is what the findings letter said. It says, I'm writing to you to follow up on our conversation and to respond to the questions you expressed. Here's the information. The section in the findings letter that states it may be difficult to see this information in writing is meaning we understand that getting a notice of a child abuse or neglect finding is difficult emotionally to read. It does not mean the facts are difficult to put in writing. I hope that helps clarify your question on this. That's what they said to me. So
Who
because it
wrote
said
that?
maybe that's what the director said to me. I said, what the hell does this mean? It may be difficult to see this information in writing. So they couldn't put it down. So that was her answer to me. Her response to me was that they meant it was emotionally hard, not that there
Oh,
wasn't any words for it.
whatever.
Right? Oh man.
That's the most lame excuse I've ever heard.
Yeah. Oh wait, I have it right here. Here it is. Let me see. Here it is. Let's open this up. It says, this assessment has resulted in the decision that you did abuse your neglect a child. It may be difficult to see in writing very specific information about the facts that led to this decision. We recognize that families have important strength, and we've made the following decisions about those reports and are explaining how they were supported. Darren Gray has been substantiated for high severity and neglect. And that's what they sent to me.
But they can't tell you how you were neglectful.
No. They didn't mean that. Just meant it was going to be hard to say that because I was going to be upset and there'd be tears in my eyes. They can't tell me why.
Because they can't. Because you didn't do
Right.
shit. That's why.
Exactly. Isn't it crazy? But they get away with this stuff. This is what they get away with every day. Every day they do this stuff to all of us, to every one of us. You know what I mean? You get stupid things like that in the mail, and then they just run away with that stuff.
They can't tell you because you're the father, but they could tell a judge.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
That's bullshit.
That was their explanation to me. That's what I got the day after they came and saw us. I got that in the mail by express mail. They came and gave that to me. Didn't even have a lawyer yet or anything.
Darren, pull that down. We'll talk about that tomorrow night. So you are a better person than me because now I've walked up in these offices and they're like, can we help you? And I'll be like, I want to talk to the supervisor of CPS. And they'll be like, oh, well, they're not here. I said, I don't give a fuck. You better find somebody, get their supervisor. Right. I remember one time the school called CPS on me because I slapped Taisha's leg, right? Mm-hmm. So CPS came to my house. I wasn't home. And my rule in my house was if I wasn't home, I don't care if Jesus Christ is standing on the other side of that door, you better not open it. Mm-hmm. So the next morning, I went to the school and she's like, well, I'm a mandated reporter, and she had a handprint on her leg. I said, okay. I went to CPS and said, let me tell you something. I am not the parent. You will not tell me where I can hit my own child. So what? She had a mark on her. She's not deprived of any food. I'm not a drunk. I'm not a drug user. I'm none of that. Leave me alone. And they closed the case. Because I march in there. I don't play with them. I don't want to talk to your little dumbass puppets. I want to talk to who's in charge.
Yeah, who's signing these papers?
Right.
Who's got the authority? Right. Yeah.
And
We
then,
even went to the court. We even went to the court and tried to reverse all this paperwork that they did on us. And the judge, Tiff, came out and talked to us. He's like, look, you can't do this. I'm like, well, how come they can do it to us? He's like, you can't do this. You got to go through your attorney and the state. He said, the state can't be the person that you're going after. I said, then how can the state come after me? Why can the state be an entity against me, but not when I'm trying to go for it? He goes, take it up, but you need to go to your lawyer. He's like, I don't want to make a ruling here today that's going to affect you for the remainder of your case. So I don't know what that meant and whether he was telling me right, wrong, or indifferent. But I mean, I know what it meant, what he was saying. But so he's like, so do you want me to go forward with this paperwork or not? And I withdrew the paperwork because I'm like, well, wait a minute, maybe because I didn't know at the time if I was doing the right thing. But damn well sure I should have been. I should have done it and seen what, like I should have rolled the dice, because I would think that the state should have had to come out and now answer for why'd you take their kid? What's the reasoning for this? And when did you do it? Or show cause or something. Of course, I didn't know the names of the terms back then. I didn't know what it was. I just knew what I wanted to try to do, And of course, you get there when you're trying to fight them, they're a lot less willing to help you when you're trying to go up against them than they are if you're just trying to give them a fine or something. They love asking and telling you where to mail that check, but not when you're trying to collect one. Like they're not friendly with you there. But yeah.
I'm telling you, if I had known you,
oh yeah,
your case would have been totally different.
Oh yeah, of course it would have. Of course it would have. But you know what? How do you know? You don't know this stuff. And you know what? Unfortunately, until you get involved with this stuff, the only way that you do is because you were dragged into it, literally. You were dragged into this stuff because your kids got taken, or your grandkids got taken, or like someone in your family lost a kid. You don't just be like, one day you wake up and be like, you know what? I'm gonna go out and fight CPS. No one ever wakes up and says that. You know what I mean? Not a damn person in this world has woken up and said that. And that's another thing. You know what? I want to know how many of these judges have been affected by back in their day of being in foster care or being a part of. I think if a judge has been involved in some sort of foster care or CPS or any of that stuff, because a lot of that stuff went around in the 60s and 70s, just when these, like when all this stuff was going down. And you know what I mean? And so they were affected one way or the other, whether it was foster family, whether it's something, they shouldn't be adjudicated because instantly they're automatically thinking from their own response that you're guilty. You're a guilty party, and that's not right either. Because how do you get such a low rate of, getting you or winning, in this stuff? I mean, like there just can't be this many people abusing kids. There just can't be, and it proves that there's not, because they start with 7 million and then they get down to 500,000. They got to take something. So let's take these. Maybe they won't notice, and that's it. I think, they just get it down to a number that maybe they won't notice. I don't know.
Well, we did that seminar, Incentive to Separate.
Yeah.
It's all about the money. The more kids they take, the more money they get.
Yeah. If you go and look at your state budgets and your state checkbooks and everything, and look at how much money your state was down in revenue, and then go and look at the amount of kids that they increased in taking, I guarantee you it balances the budget. I mean, hell, every kid's worth $1 million. It doesn't take that many children to balance that budget now. You just need 3 or 4 or 5 more kids. You can get that rate back up to where it was supposed to be. It's pretty simple. And we all can prove it. We can prove this stuff. It's very easy to prove and show. So why is this stuff not? Why? What needs to be done? Really, what needs to take place to make people take this seriously? To make it. I mean, what? I mean, we know it's the numbers. We know we need to look bigger than what we are. But then that's a whole nother problem. Now you got all these people out there fighting to be the number one person, be the number one person. I don't give a shit. Be it. Call it Doug's slide of children saving lives. I don't give a shit. Just get our kids home. Seriously, that's all. That's all. I don't care. Lead the way. The only reason we're doing this is because no one else is. So here we are and we're doing it. Like lead the way then. If you think that you can get it done and you got a better way, then come out here and do it. We will follow you. But right now, it's us and we're the ones that are doing it. So, it is what it is. So, like join up with us or shut the fuck up. Period. That's it. Like
Oh
we don't
yeah.
want you anyway if you're gonna be a cankering, Sally.
So since you went into that, I need to go into this. I do not do the drama. I don't do the drama. I will cut people off. I'm only about two things: keeping kids home or getting them home. Darren knows where I stand. I know where I stand. And if anybody has any questions, until you hear come out of my mouth or Darren's mouth, stop talking about me. Stop talking about me. Stop talking about Darren. Stop talking about Tiff and the Punisher. Just stop. Because I'm telling you, I will cut everybody off. I don't have time for the drama. This is too important. I've been doing this way too long. My character, my reputation, my life has been put into this. And I don't do the drama. So keep me out of the drama. Keep Darren out of the drama. Keep Tiff and the Punisher out of the drama. Just knock it off. Sorry, Darren. I just had to put that out there.
Hey, fine. No, that's fine. That's good. You needed to get it out there. And that's it. You know what? There's no need for drama in this stuff. There's enough. We've all suffered enough drama in our lives. There's been enough drama and trauma and everything else caused by all of this stuff that CPS has done to all of us. Like, it doesn't need to carry over into this. When we're trying to do a good thing, there's no reason to, just keep dragging it through. There's no fight for first place in this. First place is when we all get our kids home. That's when first place is. You can figure it out. Cool, do it. We're there with you. If you can't, but there's no reason. There's just no reason to try to pick and fight and, whatever. It's not for here.
This is how I've looked at what I've been doing for so long, right? Before we became partners, I said when a parent that I help wins, we all win. If that parent loses, we all lose.
That's right. Yep.
It's not about one family or one person or the kids. It's about everybody working together and doing our part, right? And if we can't do that, we're fucked ourselves.
Right. Yeah. We shouldn't. If we can't be together for this one cause and be straight with this one cause, then what are we as parents? If we can't even show our kids that we can't be together and straight just for a cause, and not because I'm trying to be the best at this cause or you're trying to be the best at this cause, but just because we believe in what we're doing is right, and there's nobody else that, there's nobody else coming to the table the way that we are right now, and with the people that we are, with Gunner doing what he's doing, with all of us working as hard as we're working, like, we're here to win this thing. Like, we're here to fight this thing out and win this thing, and we want more people to come with us, but it's not like, come to my house, it's not like that. It's just like, follow in our direction, follow suit with us and join us, because you know what, they need to see that we're 1 million strong. They need to see that we can make a difference, because until we do that 1 million man march that walks down Washington with that way, which is coming, and it will come, until we can get to that point, no one's going to listen to us. No one's going to hear a goddamn thing. When you hear 12 people here, look at the rally, yeah, it's big in numbers and it's meaningful to us, and like, look at that, we got 100 people and whatever, and we go, but that to them, that's not enough to sway a vote for them. We need all of us together to get there and do this thing together in one group, one solid mass. Call it whatever the fuck you want to call it, but just be there and support, like the one movement issue. That's the way it's got to be, or none of us are going to win. No one's going to win. But yeah, I think that's just the way it is. I think that's good for tonight.
I will put all this stuff in a PDF for you tomorrow, and
Yeah.
send it to you, and then you can forward it to the doctor dude.
Yes. All right. Perfect. And as far as everything else, we'll go as it comes.
Deidre, I don't know if we're going to come on anytime soon because we need to get our channel back up and running. That's our first priority right now. But we'll talk about it at a later date.
Absolutely. Until then, I was going to say I'll give her a call later, but Tiff got that under control. All right, everybody. Have a good night. We'll see you all tomorrow night. Same time, same place.
Under golden skies so wide, we stand tall, no fear to hide. Whispers of the windswept plains, hold your ground, break these chains. See the children lost at sea, dreams of freedom wild and free. Shadows fall, but we stay bright. Hearts of truth with purest light. Don't tread on me, hear the call. Rise above, we'll never fall. And the tears lift the veil. In this fight we shall prevail. Abdia sings tales untold of a future brave and bold. Steel guitar, the warriors cry. With our love, we touch the sky. Justice through the air. Voices join a symphony, together strong in harmony. Silent prayers and tender hearts, healing where the pain departs. Hand in hand we write our fate. Sing these words, it's not too late. Sings tales untold of a future